Right now at noon, sun, some clouds, and a bit of a warm up as we get ready to celebrate the 4th of July. We have your weekend forecast, but first, this really beautiful view live out of the waterfront. Plus, a little bit of summer relief in the form of lower utility bills, the new law that has data centers footing more of that energy cost. And details on the growing effort to ban hunting across Oregon and why some opponents say it would be a death blow to the state's agricultural industry. And later, before you start lighting up those fireworks, we hear from a health expert on how to keep all of your fingers where they're supposed to be. Well, let's start things off with a live look over the Rose City this afternoon as Portland and the nation prepares to celebrate 250 years of independence. Thank you for joining us at noon. I'm Corey Johnson. Good to be with you. Let's get a check on weather with meteorologist Rod Hill. Hey, Rod.
Hey, hello. Well, this is going to be a very comfortable weekend. You know, it's been making news. I think how hot the East Coast continues to be. I know D.C. is going to be up to around 100 degrees today, so we are truly in the sweet spot. Now, we are still dealing with some low clouds. Here's the coast. You got a lot of folks up there that have made that spiral staircase climb up to the observation deck of the Astor Column. Temperature up in Astoria right now is 64 degrees. Here is a look at the visible satellite picture. And where you don't see anything with just the black, that means it's basically clear skies. We've got sun in Salem. We have partly cloudy skies in Portland. And then you get some cloudiness, especially up toward the north coast. But clearing is starting to edge toward some of the beaches. Now, I think if you're going to be driving to the coast this afternoon, there's a decent chance by the time you get there, a couple of hours from now, things will be starting to clear out across the region. Salem has been sunny all morning, just a gorgeous day, 73 degrees at noon as we are warming up. It's partly cloudy over Portland, and we are warming up as well, 72 degrees. Temperatures almost hitting 80 in the Dalles, almost at 80 in Burns. And our 7-day forecast, this shows us 78 at 5 and 6 o'clock. I think we have a chance to get up to 80 with increasing sunshine this afternoon. It'll be the warmest day in about a week or so, Corey, and the complete weekend forecast still looks very nice, and that's coming up shortly. Back to you.
Looking forward to it, Rod. Thank you. Well, in a wildfire update, firefighters say the Lyle Hill fire is almost completely contained, sitting at about 95%. That fire started on Sunday in Lyle, Washington, which is just about 10 miles northwest of the Dalles on the Washington side of the gorge. That fire quickly growing to more than 200 acres, and that's where it stayed. Crews will continue monitoring and knocking down hot spots inside of the fire area. At this point, all evacuation orders have been lifted. Thankfully, no structures burned. Well, the warm summer months tend to bring with them some high utility bills, and the cost only seems to be growing, unfortunately. Now, that's in part because of the influx of data centers in Oregon and their electricity consumption. But Oregon Governor Tina Kotek is saying data centers will soon have to pay more. The Power Act would create a new energy rate class for data centers and other very large energy users, which in theory would increase utility rates on data centers while saving Oregonians a little bit of money.
Right now, the price decrease is somewhat modest for residential ratepayers, but by shifting it to the right, customer class for the ones who are using the most power, I think we have the opportunity in the long run to see decreases that'll really impact people.
The proposal would increase the utility rates for data centers by 29%, and Oregonians would see a 1.6% reduction as soon as their August bill. The Public Utility Commission is expected to take up the rate change at their meeting on Tuesday. Developing today, an effort to make hunting, fishing, breeding, and slaughtering livestock a crime in Oregon is one step closer to the November ballot. The initiative's supporters call it a chance to end animal cruelty, but opponents say it would end Oregon's agriculture industry, which economists say brought in roughly $7 billion last year. More than a third of that came from livestock.
Their second biggest ag crop is cattle and calves. Everybody knows Tillamook dairy. There's a lot of milk production that happens over in Oregon, and actually quite a bit of chicken egg production, some broilers, some sheep, some sheep and lambs, wool.
Our campaign is very confident that if 50% or more of Oregonians are wanting to stop killing animals, we can make sure that every Oregonian is still able to get their needs met through alternative strategies.
And you just heard from David Mickelson, the chief petitioner. He and paid volunteers collected 142,000 signatures, more than the 117,000 needed to get on the November ballot. Come Monday, the state will begin verifying the signatures. Their deadline is August 2nd. Meanwhile, opponents of Washington's millionaires tax are also hoping for a statewide referendum come November. The tax, which the governor signed into law in March, goes into effect in 2029. It will require households to pay an extra 10% on income over $1 million. The funding is supposed to go to schools and childcare, but opponents say it's scaring millionaires out of the state and preventing businesses from moving in. And some farmers are concerned too, fearing if they have one good year, instead of using proceeds to make up for bad years, they'll be taxed.
All you're doing is replacing equipment that should have been replaced 5 years ago, and you're paying down your line of credit, hopefully, if your bank is still letting you bank with them, paying down principal on your farm debt. It's just, yeah, the economics are brutal.
Now, if voters choose to keep the tax, the state's Supreme Court could have the final say. Well, 4th of July celebrations are about to get underway. Whether you're enjoying the holiday by the pool or at a barbecue, or even, of course, watching a fireworks show, doctors are saying they're hoping one place you don't end up this year is the emergency room. Doctors say they see a lot of the same types of injuries every single year, specifically burns and injuries that can permanently damage your eyes or cost you a finger or two. When you combine fireworks with more people out enjoying the heat and also alcohol, the risk for injury only goes up. They also say the majority of the cases they see in the ER are preventable. This is especially true for young children. Fireworks like sparklers are a popular favorite among the kiddos, but Kaiser Permanente doctors say despite seeming harmless, even those can become dangerous.
This is burning at a very hot temperature. As you have seen, people tend to wave them in the air, and there's a high risk of injuries to someone's eyes or their hands, especially if someone is young and inexperienced.
Health officials say the best thing you can do is leave fireworks to the professionals when possible. And the Bureau of Land Management is issuing a stark warning ahead of the 4th of July holiday. The agency says anyone who starts a wildfire could face jail time and hefty fines. The Bureau says despite the holiday weekend, fire restrictions remain in effect across all BLM lands in Oregon and in Washington. That means no fireworks, no sky lanterns, exploding targets, tracer rounds, and no steel core ammunition. Officials warning anyone who starts a wildfire could face up to $100,000 in fines, a year in prison, and be held responsible for firefighting costs. And no need to set off illegal fireworks this year. That's because there are plenty of places to see them, including in Portland. Tomorrow, the Hawthorne and Morrison bridges will be closed to cars for the Waterfront Blues Festival fireworks show. The Hawthorne Bridge will be closed starting at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And people will be able to watch the fireworks at the west end of the Hawthorne Bridge. The north side will be open to cyclists and pedestrians. The Morrison Bridge will then be closed to cars starting at 8 p.m. and it will stay open for cyclists and pedestrians. As part of the holiday tomorrow, the 142nd Wing of the Portland Air National Guard Base will conduct flyovers at 4th of July ceremonies throughout Oregon and Southwest Washington. Those flyovers will start over Lake Oswego at 10:05 a.m. and end with McMinnville at 12:07 p.m. And you can find a full list of times and locations on the 142nd Wing's Facebook page. Well, tonight on KGW, the Seattle Mariners are in action once again for the start of a three-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Mariners are tied with the Rangers for first place in the AL West. The pregame show kicks off tonight at 6:30 right here on KGW. First pitch is at 7:10.